Nebraska has a new walleye record, a circle hook myth debunked, and bass thumb? That's cute. We got that and more coming up right now in Target Walleye's Top 5 presented by Seafoam. Let's dive on in. I'm not sure there's a more enjoyable way to catch a walleye than ripping a Rapala Jigging Rap, and it's that time of year, or no matter what your favorite glide bait or glide jig is, it's such a funny fishing way to catch them until you try to get those fish in the boat, because if those fish break the surface of the water, they are so good at spitting that bait, using the momentum and the head shake to pop that bait free. And the folks at Wired to Fish have the perfect above the water example of just how quick walleyes can do that. We might have to watch that again or a couple times because it's just a split second and patooey, that bait is waving goodbye. That's why you usually only have one shot to net that fish once they get up to the surface. And you know what? Let's watch it in slow motion because it's so hard to see. So let's slow things down. You combine tiny little hooks with super heavy baits, and the fish can use that momentum to slingshot those things free. And that's one reason you have folks like Al Linder, the goat of Jigging Rap fishing, preaching, telling, asking you to please try using a monofilament mainline instead of braid, because it acts as a shock absorber, so you keep heavy, steady pressure on that fish. And with that monofilament line absorbing those head shakes to keep pressure, you lose a lot less fish. Give it a shot, or don't. Lose more fish.
The choice is yours.
So I was speed scrolling through Facebook, minding my own business, and I skimmed over a post that had the word Nebraska and state record on the same walleye picture. Obviously, I got super excited because the current Nebraska state record walleye is 16 pounds 2 ounces and was caught over 52 years ago as of this last week. Now, this new record is 14 pounds and just over 10 ounces, which is obviously still a gigantic walleye. But it's less than 16 too, so what's the catch? Well, apparently Nebraska has several different categories for state record walleyes, including ones caught by rod and reel, ones taken with a bow and arrow, and others that were with underwater spear fishing. And Brian Lee underwater spearfished the snot out of this Lake McConaughey giant. Regardless of how it was taken, it was took, and it is giant. You know what? Congrats on that huge fish, and I honestly think if I saw that thing underwater while scuba diving, I'd be shooting it in self-defense probably. So apparently it has been scientifically proven that circle hooks kill half as many walleyes as traditional J-shaped hooks, but it's not how or why you're thinking. And I know that because I was thinking the same thing. Now, this study was published by Minnesota DNR's Tom Jones, and it's a small sample size of Mille Lacs fish, but it had some pretty interesting findings. Overall in the study, circle hooks killed 12% of the walleyes that were landed, and traditional J-shaped hooks killed 27% of the walleyes.
Well, that is worse.
Now, there's sort of this myth out there where circle hooks don't gut hook fish, right? You always hook them in the corner of the mouth. Well, that was sort of debunked in this study. What they did is they did 20 seconds before they'd set the hook, whether it was a circle hook or a J hook. And they found that actually, no matter the style of hook, about half of the time after 20 seconds, a walleye was going to have that hook gut hooked or just hooked deep. So why are circle hooks supposedly killing less walleyes? Because in this study, they found that you hook up with 15% less fish with circle hooks. You miss more fish. And they said if you're not catching as many fish, you're not killing as many fish. Now, they also said what contributed to their percentages is that with circle hooks, you set the hook a little bit differently. You do a reeling, steady hook set and sort of let that hook guide in on its own. Or with traditional J-shaped hooks, you really swing for the fences. And so with these fish that were gut hooked, The circle hooks did supposedly less damage because you're a little bit more easy on how you're doing it, and the traditional hooks, you're kind of turning their insides out when you set the hook on a gut hooked fish.
Okay, well that's disturbing.
My thoughts on it all? Regardless if 12% or 27% of the walleyes that you hook up with are dying, that number's way too high and you are taking way too long to set the hook.
Hey, tighten it up.
Bass thumb? That's cute. Here's what happens when a bass guy goes walleye fishing and actually catches them. This hilarious and very real picture is from 5 times BASS champ Kevin Short, who had just got done walleye fishing for 3 days and catching over 100 fish, and he said in the caption that hydrogen peroxide is his new best friend. It hurts so good, but man, you gotta do yourself a favor and get some of that New Skin liquid bandage stuff. I went through about a half a bottle of it last weekend, just patching up the phalanges. If you've never used it, 10 out of 10 recommend. Since you liked the last fishing graffiti that we shared, we might as well toss another one in here that's even a little bit spicier. It was spotted in Toronto, Ontario, and the more I look at it, the more I realize things are getting weird fast. I mean, yes, that is a walleye catching itself. See? We told you it was easy, except for basically anywhere I ever try to go walleye fishing. And if you're able to get out this weekend, I hope you whack them. And that wraps up this week's Top 5. A big shout out to Seafoam for keeping us running smooth and making this video series possible. If you want more walleye related content like this, sign up for our free Target Walleye emails at targetwalleye.com, and I'll see you back in 7.